Welcome back to the Brand Personalization Video Marketing course. Today is September 11th, 2011. Yesterday we covered how to leave comments and engage with other users. And today, in respect with the anniversary of September 11th, we're going to touch on yesterday to an extent, but basically talk about the flip side of things. How to deal with, negative comments or what to do when bad things happen. So before we get into today, let's go ahead and give a quick recap of where we are right now, and then we'll jump right into today's lesson. Okay, so we have 1,146 channel views, 4,302 total upload views, 144 subscribers, and 1,128 friends. You'll also notice I went ahead and added the additional milestone to the side since we went over the 1,000 channel views mark. So at the time that I was shooting everything yesterday, it was 980 something, and then when I did the refresh, we were actually over 1,000. So that was pretty exciting to see. Plus, I like to hit 2 different milestones in the same day. So hopefully we'll be at the 2,500 mark soon. But till then, we'll just keep pushing good content and then wait for everything to go viral. So getting into today's lesson, there are a lot of times that you're going to get comments or responses to your comments, and they're not always favorable. So basically today what we're going to do is cover what to do if someone puts you down or says something negative, and it basically comes out to was it just something to be hurtful, or was someone just trying to hurt your feelings, or were you just wrong and they were correcting you? So once you keep in mind what they were actually trying to accomplish with their comment, then that makes it a little bit easier to know the proper way to respond. So we'll go ahead and break this into 3 categories. Let's say with the first, it's just going to be what's called or known as a troll. Basically, this is just when someone is saying something negative, trying to get a reaction. And a lot of times they don't even watch the comment. They're just saying some negative things, trying to get either a conversation going or to get you to lose your nerve, or going for the shock value so that way people will go back to their channel to see what they're all about. And some people actually use this as a strategy to boost their channel views or video views, things like that. I have never said anything negative on any type of forum that was just to hurt someone or to discredit them or anything like that. There's a huge difference between just flaming someone and constructive criticism, which we'll get into in a second. But if someone is just saying things to get under your skin, then basically you have to decide, are you just going to ignore them, or are you going to discount what they're saying, or are you going to correct them? So basically, if someone is just saying something negative, then I may respond, I may not. I usually don't delete the comments. It basically depends on if it's inviting other people to come in and attack also. If it's something that is inviting others, then usually I'll get rid of it, or I'll respond in a way that would prohibit other people from responding to it as well. Just keep in mind that most of the time when you see comments like this, it's not people that are creators. There are a lot of people that will say something negative because they don't have anything positive to say, period. And it has nothing to do with your content. It's just them in general. So, it's kind of sad to think that, some people, don't have a life, and the only way that they can get their jollies is to, see what kind of reaction they can get with someone. So, when it's, something like this, never take it to heart. It is a stranger. There are a lot of people that I know that, have let it go to their head or to their heart and never continued. And the way I look at it is, the best way to get someone back, or to let them know that their comments meant nothing to you, was to keep going. If you let it get to you, then, quote unquote, they win. So, it's just basic psychology. Some people, will try to blow out someone else's candle just so their flame will burn a little bit brighter. But what always happens is their wick burns twice as fast, and then they dissolve to nothing. And the reason that I'm spending so much time on this is because it's very sad to see someone trying to better themselves or to put out information that is to help others, and then they quit with that goal just because they had some bad comments, or someone said something that was very hurtful and they took it to heart and they weren't able to continue. Or they figured, what's the point, in proceeding if I'm just going to be bashed, or people are going to put it down, things like that. But if you're putting something out there that's, going to actually, help someone, then the people that may possibly say something bad aren't your general audience anyway. So, if you don't want to respond to them, you can just let it go or delete their comment altogether. Like I said, it's a stranger. So don't let those people get to you. Now, the second thing here would be, sometimes someone is saying something negative, not to, get under your skin or anything like that. They just don't agree with you. And this is probably the most common, where, you're saying something that, is different than what they're used to or what they know. So they're, very vocal, and they're, speaking, their own experiences or what their thoughts are. And these are actually invited, so definitely, don't get upset or discouraged if you get comments like this. Because for one, it's going to add perspective, to your videos or your descriptions or blog posts or wherever it is. Two, it gives you, more of an opportunity to, explain what you meant, with your comments, or what point you were trying to get across. Or you can even acknowledge the fact that, yes, some people do think that way, but this is why I think in this way. So, take those opportunities to shed more light on what you are trying to get across, and don't take it as an attack. And the fact that people are voicing their opinions mean that they're engaged. So this can, be more helpful than harmful. But it's all in how you act and react and what you do with it. So make the most of it, and, respond in a respectful way. And you will gain more respect by acknowledging those comments than if you just let it slide. Now the third is going to be if you're just plain out wrong. And it does happen. Sometimes when we are putting out content, we're trying to, put out as much as possible. And sometimes, methods change, or, tactics no longer work anymore, things like that. So if you are wrong, own up to it. That's one of the biggest problems I see nowadays is, people are afraid to admit when they were wrong. If you are, able to stand up and say, I made a mistake, or I thought this was the case, and, thank you to, New 6271 for pointing out that this no longer works, or things like that. For one, that's going to keep integrity in your broadcast or podcast, or whatever medium that you're using. Two, it acknowledges that you're listening to your audience. And three, more importantly, it shows that you're willing to admit that you made a mistake. Newspapers do it all the time. There's an entire column just for retractions just because they had wrong information. We are no different. And we don't have, huge press rooms to double check information for us and everything else. So, if someone says that you're wrong, first, check it and, see if you actually are. Sometimes it goes back to the second category where someone thinks that you're wrong and, they're just biased in their, opinions, but you still feel that you are right. And that's when you come in and basically state, I can understand why you think that way, but this is why I think this way. And, basically just give people, a decision to make. Either they can, follow your way, your method, or you can even mention, maybe this other way might work out better for you, or whatever. There's a lot of situations where there's no right way. There's just a right way for each person. So, depending on, what kind of information that you're putting out there, there may be, several different ways of doing things. So if someone mentions, a different way, then you can acknowledge that and you basically say, this is the way that I do things, but here are a few other options. Or I didn't mention these options because I'm trying to keep a singular focus to make things easier for you because I didn't want you to be confused. And if you are positioned as an expert and you acknowledge these things and you're able to, give or gain, perspective on different methods or methodologies, then that's going to, keep respect, with your audience. Plus, that's going to show that you're well versed in, those different areas. So, anytime that you have any type of negative comment, think about it for a second before you respond and see, is it just a negative comment, or is it constructive criticism, or is it just a flamer, or, a troll, or whatever you want to term it. And, see the perspective that they're using when they make a comment. If their comment has no merit, sometimes it's best just to let it slide. If it does have merit, then you should definitely respond, so that way people can see your perspective or why you said the things that you did. So it basically just comes down to, thinking of what you do, thinking of how you act, react, and respond. And as a whole, this will keep integrity with you and your brand, and keep respect in your broadcast or whatever message that you're trying to get out. But since this is September 11th, it has been 1 decade since the huge tragedy. So in closing, I would like to say, for those who lost your lives, we honor you. And for the courageous heroes that, fought that day, we salute you. Till tomorrow, this is Dustin Salmons with Brand Personalization. Take care.